five participants here. Just a gentle reminder, please stay on just after our final speaker as well, because Hazim, as my understanding is, will be taking a group picture. Is that right, Hazim?
A group screenshot, to be specific.
Yeah, group screenshot. You see, I'm still pre-COVID. Okay, yes. So please just stay on 75. I think it's a good number. All right, we always save the best, the last for best, the best for last. Our final speaker for this evening is Mr. Ali Azhar Abbas from VeriDoc Global. He will be sharing the topic on ensuring transparency and traceability in supply chain management with a revolutionary blockchain-based solution. A brief introduction on Mr. Ali, who is a technologist and strategist defined by entrepreneurial skills, passion for excellence, and integrity. What makes him unique is the combination of over 2 decades of IT industry experience working with technology partners based across the globe, and business background in managing and founding technology companies. All right, Mr. Ali, if you're all ready.
Yes, all set. Can you hear me clearly, Raj?
Yes, we can, loud and clear.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where the participants are. And thank you for attending this session. First of all, thanks Hazim, Raj, and the team. I think it's been a wonderful event, organized very well. And thanks to all the speakers for sharing some lovely, valuable insights into the industry problems. A brief introduction about myself. My name is Ali Asgar, and I represent VeriDoc Global in the Southeast Asia as a regional director. VeriDoc Global as a company is a 5-year-old technology company. We are headquartered out of Australia, Brisbane, and we have offices and partners globally. We are one of the pioneers in blockchain-based anti-fraud verification solutions, and our solutions are built around patented technology that combines QR code verification, public key, cryptography, and blockchain technology. I know this sounds a bit complex, but let me simplify it. In simple words, we make verification simple for everyone. Basically, anyone with a smartphone and a QR code scanning app can verify within seconds whether something is genuine or fake. Our journey started off with document verification solutions, but we have diversified, and now we have products developed across industries. Our focus today will be to talk about the supply chain solution for the next 20 or 30 minutes, and I'll try to explain on how our revolutionary solution can help to build trust amongst consumers and also help businesses better protect their brands. Okay. Sorry, just hold on. Can you see my screen yet?
I think you haven't shared it yet, Ali. Can you share it again?
Yeah, sure. My apologies. Yeah, right. Okay, so can you see it now?
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
I can see it.
Okay. All right, so let's get started. We have all been talking about supply chain management and complications and so on over the last few days. And I'll briefly touch on a few aspects on the problem statement and not delve too deep, because I think we have had some very good insights in the past few days. Why do supply chains today have this problem? Because there are huge gaps in the tracking and tracing of the products. Okay, this is what has resulted in fakes and provides difficulty in distinguishing the products between a real and a fake product. It is becoming increasingly difficult for consumers to differentiate between a real and a fake. Let's look at some of the examples. Talk about the electronics industry. This can cause serious safety issues. And of course, we have heard about accidents leading to this and causing other safety hazards, including fires and so on. Fakes in pharmaceutical industry. In fact, this has been a major problem. It has been highlighted over the last 2 days, even in these sessions. And we also heard from a few speakers on how there's been fraud in the respect in the COVID-19 test kits, and close to 1 million deaths due to the fake in the pharmaceutical industry. The next is food safety. There are instances where we hear that there's plastic mixed with the rice. Imagine us consuming these products, or even worse, feeding this to our children. Now, let us look at why do supply chain frauds happen? What is the reason behind that? First, in any typical supply chain, there are multiple parties, stakeholders there, and trade nowadays happens in a global market. The operating environment is very complex, and most importantly, given the current advancement in the technology today, there is no shortage of sophisticated tools to easily create fakes. So given these problems, we can classify or group the problems into a few key areas. First is traceability. The most common problem is consumers are unable to trace the origin of food. There's an emerging trend for organic foods today, and there's no way consumers can ascertain if the food is organic. This is just one of the examples. Talk about transparency. Consumers do not know the journey of the product. What happens if the product gets exchanged with an inferior product, or product recalls? Manufacturers have difficulty to recall products due to safety hazards, and customers do not have a convenient way to know if their product falls under a recall. And this even gets more difficult for food items, pharmaceutical industries, and so on. Next, a very important topic is counterfeits. Consumers do not have the flexibility to detect something on the spot. The current ways are complex. Some of them need to have special security features, or some even need special training or devices to identify. We already saw in the previous slides what effects that counterfeit products can have. And last but not the least, due to counterfeits, what happens is that businesses lose their reputation, the customer perception, and at the end of the day, affects the credibility of the product and at the bottom line. Let us see how we can solve some of these problems using our latest technology. Can scanning a QR code solve this problem? Okay, let us see how we can do this. I would urge the participants here to scan this QR code on the screen, and I will shortly give a demo on this as well. Okay, I'll give about 10 seconds. Maybe you can just try to scan the QR code, and I'll go through the next slide. Okay. So let's take a look at what happens or what the user experiences when they see the scan the QR code. They'll be able to see the product details. It shows them the information about the origin of the product. It shows them the information about the farm, where they're coming from, the storage requirement, and most importantly, which the consumers are today concerned of, is the expiry date. In this case, which is the best before. Any additional supporting documents that are required, in this case, we are using the health card, or it could be, in other cases, it could be some nutrition information, some safety information, or a technical guide, user guide, depending on what the kind of product is involved. Okay? So that is how the customer would be able to see in a single scan the product details. Next, how can we tackle transparency? The entire journey of the product can be tracked from the plant, from the farm to the market. In this section, we see that right from at every point of the journey, the products are tracked. The timestamp, the location, and other pertinent information is captured. This will give an insight to the customer to know exactly when and where the goods have changed ownership. In summary, each movement can be recorded into a single QR code. And this information is placed on a tamper-proof blockchain. I'll talk about blockchain a little later in this session. Okay. Let us look at something even more interesting over here. We have the farm live feed section here. In here, we are seeing a GIF file with a dummy chickens running around the house. But what this section can do is link to the actual location or a farm or whatever the factory to be able to show the actual source via a video feed into the tracking page. Thus, as we see here, this takes transparency to an entirely new level. And with all this in place, it will help counter counterfeits and help customers to assess the authenticity of the products. As we discussed earlier, just by scanning the QR code, the customer would be able to get the flexibility for checking a genuine status. And most importantly, there's no specific app required. As long as the consumer has a smartphone with a QR code reading app, this can be done. Okay. I'll cover a little bit more about counterfeits again in the subsequent sessions. Let's take another example of a product recall. In this case, we see once a QR code is scanned, the consumer will be immediately able to see that this particular food is marked for unsafe for consumption. Okay. There is no need to call any service center or to log into a website or key in a serial number, which are one of the traditional methods or the current methods where people need to check for product recalls. Another example, good example for product recalls would be safety products. I mean, if everyone recalls over here, there was a massive car airbag recall that happened a couple of years back, and a lot of people were involved in that. So let's come back to the QR code again. What is special about this QR code? Each of the QR code is embedded with a unique verification link. The verification link is linked to a unique digital hash value, which is placed on blockchain. The system displays the information and the identifiers that are linked to the hash value. That means the information that is shown over here is all linked to this particular hash value. And this is what lends itself as a trusted reference point for the verification process and helps to prevent fraud and abuse. I know the technology may sound complicated, but as we see over here, it's extremely easy to use. So, as we have seen from this demo, a single QR code can solve a multitude of problems ranging from traceability, transparency, to product recall. These mechanisms combined with the blockchain technology, location-based technology, reduces the risk of counterfeit. Let's dig a little deeper to understand how the solution works. The reliable and immutable nature of the emerging technology upon which our solution is built is a good fit, or rather, if we call it a perfect fit for a supply chain tracking solution. Let's take a look at some of the key features over here. Track items. The solution helps to track items from the source by generating batch QR codes, and this QR code can be embedded with information like SKU, batch number, product specification. This particular QR code is then embedded with a hash which is stored securely on blockchain, which can be verified instantly. In addition, these QR codes have timestamps at both parent and child levels. The QR codes can be grouped. For example, you may have a carton, and within carton you may have multiple boxes, or vice versa, or you may have a bottle of you may have a box of bottles and individual bottles. So the QR codes can be defined and set at multiple levels. Avoiding counterfeits. Our solution is capable of identifying the number of times a QR code is read. It gets the location information, and combining the time and geo-based detection, alerts can be configured to detect fraudulent activities. Let's take a look at a simple demo on how this works. In this demo, an alert has been defined to check that if the QR code is scanned in 2 different locations, it will raise an alert. Okay. So if the same QR code starts popping up in multiple places, it means that the QR code is compromised. in that case, the system can be configured to disable the QR code which voids the counterfeit products. Okay. Upon breach, a sample email as well is sent to the administrator, and so that necessary actions can be taken or further escalations can be done. The analytics module can be used for customer engagement. The QR code, some statistics like the total number of QR code scans, the kind of products, the usage patterns can also be captured. This information will help businesses pivot by understanding markets better. And if we combine this technology with existing IoT systems, label printing systems, to avoid counterfeits, it will add a layer of transparency and visibility to the customers. Okay. Next is tracking warranty. This is another key problem area where manufacturers have difficulty to track the warranty. So the same warranty information can also be embedded inside the QR code, which will help the manufacturers track warranty. Our solution is backed by blockchain or distributed ledger. And this technology is at the forefront of security. And what makes it secure? I'll talk about a few things. One, data is immutable, means cannot be changed or deleted. It is permanent in nature, not stored on a single centralized server. And most importantly, the security is now shared across millions of computers and locations, depending on the size of the blockchain. To edit the same data, changes have to be made at multiple computers, which may not be very possible. Okay. Now that we understand what is blockchain, let's go back to our demo and see how the verification on the blockchain can be done to make transparency better, or to offer the level of transparency that we are looking at. We discussed earlier that every QR code has a unique verification link. And this link is associated with a blockchain link at our portal. The verification can be done using any blockchain explorer tool. In this case, the data has been stored on the Ethereum blockchain, or rather the hash has been stored on the Ethereum blockchain. So we will see how the verification can be done. Okay. Before we verify, let's take note of some key information over here. There is this transaction ID starting with 0x998 and a hash E5594. Okay. These values can be used to verify the authenticity of the transaction. Okay. Let's compare the values with the values on the blockchain. So as we see here, the transaction ID is 0x998 can be seen, and the hash 5594796 can also be verified. So as we see here, this is one of a very foolproof method for validating a transaction on a decentralized network. And this is getting even more important as the current businesses and supply chains have multiple stakeholders involved. The key thing to note here is that this is the only information, that is the transaction hash and the transaction hash that is stored on the blockchain. All other information, that means the information that we see here, the images, the data, is always stored on the manufacturer's or the customer's secured servers of their choice, or the private cloud as they wish. Okay. Now that we understand the problem, the solution, let me briefly walk you through some of the product features. Our components are designed to keep the products authentic, overcome counterfeits, and connected across the entire distribution network. Okay. Let's talk about Batch Manager. Batch Manager is like a control panel, and it's at the heart of the solution that enables track and trace of the products from source to destination. It allows businesses the ability to generate a QR code, be able to assign the suppliers or the authorized parties inside the supply chain. It allows to fill in the product information, warranty details, upload product documentation, and this is the place where the QR codes are blockchain. Okay. In summary, it acts like a central control station that can be used to build traceability and transparency in the supply chain. A mobile app is available on the App Store and Play Store, and the purpose of this app is only for the purpose is to capture the traceability in the supply chain. It allows the authorized users to capture the traceability details. So for example, in this particular, each of the scan that is happening across the supply chain can be authorized in the batch manager, and only the authorized users inside the mobile app can scan those QR codes for tracking purposes. Okay, just to give a simple example, a warehouse will scan the QR code and they may enter the warehouse details or the bay number in which the particular package is stored. A photo of the product can be attached, and most importantly, the timestamp, location, and the device details are automatically captured. Now, a thing to note here is that this app is only required by the stakeholders or the parties involved in the supply chain. The consumers do not need to download any app. Next is the analytical dashboard. The analytical dashboard is powered by Google Analytical Engine, and it's used for generating reports and provides valuable insights to enable marketing and promotional activities. This data can also be used for MarTech initiatives, and it opens up a world of possibilities for larger organizations to use this data for big data and analytics and AI initiatives. It opens up engagement opportunities for the businesses to market and cross-sell related products. For example, we can gather information on all the website visits, including the location of the visit, length of the time span, etc. Okay. It can also provide us some reports on how many times a QR code is being scanned, where the QR code is scanned, and so on. These are just some of the examples that we see here, but this is a highly configuration solution that can be customized depending on the customer's individual analytical requirements. Our approach is to have a scalable solution. We have a standard out-of-the-box product which is suitable for any size of business. For example, a small manufacturer can use the solution just as it is. They can generate the QR codes, print it using their existing printers, or integrate or print directly on their pre-printed stickers or packaging that may have, and also have the flexibility to download the QR codes and pass it to a printing company depending on how they want to put it. If the example they're using some special printing papers, it can also be printed on those. Next, affordability. That is one of the most important factors for all businesses these days. The scalable design, as I discussed earlier, makes it affordable to small businesses as well. They do not need to invest in any expensive hardware or special printing equipment, and they will continue to use the existing packaging and introduce this QR code. Okay. For larger enterprises, we have a mature suite of APIs. These APIs can be integrated into any existing ERP, supply chain, or printing system. And most importantly, the APIs are very easy to use, and the technical team involved does not need to be retrained in any new technology. Most importantly, the last point to emphasize is that the existing infrastructure, the existing systems, the hardware can be used. And this becomes a very important or a pertinent point, especially when companies are hesitant to invest in capex or large investments in terms of getting started. The solution is cloud-based. Okay. It is hosted on a reliable and secure cloud-based solution, and thus again over here it eliminates the need for businesses to invest upfront in any expensive infrastructure. The pricing is subscription-based. We have multiple subscription plans, and businesses can select the subscription plan based on the usage requirements with the flexibility to change the plan as needed. Again, there is no upfront licensing cost involved for our out-of-the-box solution. This is a very key point where our solution is compatible with multiple blockchains. It can work with a private blockchain or it can work with a public blockchain. At the current point, our solution is already fully integrated with Bitcoin, Ethereum Classic, EOS, QLDB, and many more to come. Our unique ability to integrate to multiple blockchains provides a variety of options to our customers to use a blockchain of their choice depending on their security requirements and budgetary requirements. We also provide the flexibility to integrate with more than one blockchain where there are some advanced security requirements. For example, the customers may want to use a combination of private and a public blockchain. We not only support QR codes, but we support multiple types of barcodes. We support most of the two-dimensional barcodes, including 2D barcodes, PDF 4.7, and some 2D barcodes as well, where the label requirements, printing requirements are for very small. So with this, I hope it gives a good idea on how our overall solution works, and we believe this can take or revolutionize the supply chains to take the transparency and traceability to the next level. Before I conclude, I would just like to briefly mention that we have purpose-built solutions across multiple industries, solving different kinds of problems. Our solutions range from document verification solutions, HR, contact tracing, e-signature, and many more. I would like to particularly highlight here our upcoming product, VeriDoc Sign, which is a unique product, and we believe is the only one that provides blockchain-based e-signature product in the world. And what makes us different here is that the documents here can be hosted and stored on the customer's own private servers or private cloud if they wish. Most of the current e-signature platforms today require their documents to be uploaded on the servers. Please do visit our website and take a look at some of these products, and feel free to reach out to me or to any one of us if you need any further information. I'm open. We're happy to arrange a demo of our product for any of the features, or if you'd like to know more about us, please feel free to reach out to us.
Hi, Ali. Thank you very much for the detailed call. I think there are a number of questions actually that are being raised. All right. I have another call to jump on to, so I will leave it to Hazim to take over from here, and then probably address a few other questions that were left outstanding. Hazim, are you there?
Yep. Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you for moderating today's event and for ensuring the fantastic smooth of the overall flow. You've definitely added a lot of value for today's sessions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This will be my last event for a year. I hope it is for you guys as well. So have a great holiday ahead, and keep safe, keep apart, and stay sane. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ramesh. Right, Ali, I think we have a couple of questions. Firstly, sure. Would the move from physical verification to barcode verification be a seamless process? The pandemic times have redefined the way we operate. Do you think it is the technology of the future?
Yes, indeed. Everybody is moving towards a digital verification, and this would be the first great step of doing it. So the QR code, as I said, every QR code comes with a link. So not only the product can be verified using a QR code using a physical device, but can also be done using a link. So very much yes.
All right, thank you, Ali. I think we have also a quick poll for the attendees just to gather feedback. So I would really appreciate if you guys can take 1 more minute before we have the group photo or a group screenshot. It wouldn't take a second, so we would appreciate your input and feedback on that. Thank you. All right, so I would love to ask the attendees to